Wetlands are more than just swamps. They occur in all shapes and sizes, from tiny mountain seeps to gigantic river deltas. They provide homes for wildlife and help control water quality and quantity, but they are disappearing at an alarming rate. If forests are considered the lungs of the planet, wetlands are the kidneys. They clean impurities out of the water through a natural process called biofiltration. Before there were roads here, water would flow into wetlands or seep back into the groundwater, getting cleaned up in the process. Hard surfaces like roofs and roads make that impossible, so water just runs off into the area's rivers and lakes, carrying impurities like oil and fertilizer with it. Municipalities are now recognizing the value of these wetlands and the services they provide.
When rain and snow melts, it has to go somewhere. So they've created this wetland behind us to deal with stormwater. And so as the runoff comes into this area. Wetlands are great filterers. And so the water slows down, stuff settles out, plants take it up, break it apart, and then it's allowed through an intake structure to go into the adjacent wetland. And ultimately, this water does go into Fitzsimmons Creek.
Fitzsimmons Creek is in Whistler, British Columbia, host of the 2010 Winter Olympics. The Games may have brought new development here, but along with that development comes a change in the area's ecosystem. Carolyn Ann Budgell has lived in Whistler and seen the rapid growth in this area. She has decided to encourage conservation by motivating others to take an active role in the health of their own wetlands.
We're going out into wetlands in Whistler and in communities all over British Columbia and providing people, volunteers, with the opportunity to learn really pertinent skills to map wetlands and monitor them, and so that people can become wetland stewards.
So the water comes up from the ground in most places. In this case, it's also stormwater management.
One of the Canadian Wildlife Federation's partnerships is with the BC Wildlife Federation. Together, we have put on a series of workshops called Wetland Keepers. The information presented at these clinics enables community members to take care of the wetlands in their own area. They will learn how to map a wetland and understand the plants, fish, and wildlife residing there.
We're losing our wetlands, and people don't really understand the importance of them. They think they're stinky wastelands, so I think it's important to really teach them the importance of wetlands.
Just because you don't see a lot of things in these wetlands, and maybe they're kind of in the way or they're inconvenient, doesn't mean that they're not supporting a multitude of life. Not just the birds that are coming and going from spring and fall, but to the toads and that are doing like 2-mile loops throughout the day, laying their eggs in one wetter area, feeding and breeding in another.
When a wetland ecosystem changes, so do the plants and wildlife that depend on it. These include the very largest to the most minute creatures. Here at Lost Lake, these tiny western toads are considered a threatened species. So to bolster their numbers, the municipality of Whistler is using simple methods to give them a better chance at survival.
What they've done is installed a toad bridge, which is right behind me, and they install it during migration times every summer so that the western toad, which breeds in the lake, can exit the lake easily and safely without getting trampled by the passerby on the path, and then they exit underneath the bridge into the forest to burrow for the rest of their season.
Even though they may seem small and insignificant, the health of their population is a good indicator of the health of the entire ecosystem.
We really want to try and increase its numbers so that other population numbers which rely on the western toad for food can also remain healthy.
Wetlands are normally found in the bottom of valleys, and that is where most development is taking place because they are easy to fill in and build on top of. When that development takes place, the wetland is not there to provide services like flood control.
The entire sea to sky corridor from Pemberton down to Horseshoe Bay is a floodplain, so the wetlands in that area are extremely important because there's a lot of glacier runoff every spring, and the wetlands help to absorb that runoff and to release it back into the environment.
Whether you are working alone or with a group, you can make a difference in the health of the wetlands in your area. First of all, find what wetland is nearest to you. Learn about the plant, fish, and wildlife species that depend on that wetland, and join a conservation group and get active in conserving these valuable ecosystems. We're interested in what you are doing to protect the water in your community and want to share your experiences with others across the country. It's our turn to take care of this planet, and I think we can do a better job. What do you think?